Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. How are you guys doing? Oh, it's just been so tiring this week. I've been working almost every day this week, which is crazy, on top of school. So that is so fun. Which, yay. Anyways, today I think we'll be talking about childhood, because honestly, after how stressful this week is going and how much responsibility this has made me realize I have, I just sometimes want to go back to childhood where basically you had to worry about nothing. It literally just feels so long ago, yet so close, because I'm only 20, so compared to other people who are older than me, obviously that's a shorter amount of time, but yeah, it just still feels very long ago, considering especially trends and toys and stuff that everyone saw on TV as advertisements, or had because of trends and stuff, and just other things that literally defined our childhood. Honestly, there's so many that I can think of, but yeah, honestly though, I don't feel like I'm a proper adult at 20 turning 21. For some reason it feels like still a teenager or something, and I feel like I don't look 20. I don't know, because when I go out to the city center and go and walk around and stuff, there's obviously loads of younger teenagers around, but they don't look their age. They look way older, and obviously boys in general as well seem so tall. Some of the guys I've seen who are probably at least 4 to 5 years younger than me and are reaching 6'2", 6'3" is crazy. What are these parents feeding these kids? I want to know, because why am I not hitting 6 foot? I want to know. But yeah, that's why I feel I don't look 20, if that makes sense. Yeah, I just feel people might mistake me for someone younger than I mean, I guess it's a compliment, but also at the same time, you just not too long ago hit adulthood, so you're just actually I'm an adult, not a child anymore. But yeah, and obviously kids, like I said, they don't look their age anymore, and I think that has to do with social media and stuff. Obviously, I think that plays a big role, because why am I seeing not even 10, they're probably barely 10 years old, the children in Sephora, or why are they in Space NK, and the grandparents go ahead and let these kids buy the makeup, and some of them have skincare that they don't need. Why am I seeing kids buying retinol and stuff like that? That doesn't make sense to me, because you're gonna ruin your face and your skin way quicker than anybody else, because I feel I regret wearing makeup at such a young age, because obviously I wasn't too good at it, but also steps and stuff, primer, skincare stuff, I wasn't really good at it. So I thought what I wore, the concealer, foundation stuff, kind of exacerbated how dry and how damaged my skin feels. So with kids actually putting retinol, girl, you don't have a wrinkle on your face. Why do you need it? Why do you think you need it? Just because influencers say so does not mean you do, because those influencers are not your age. Let me tell you that right now. When you go and watch James Charles, Nikki tutorials, they are not 10, 11 years old. They are grown ass proper adults, and their skin are obviously going to be different compared to yours. So I don't know what made you thought that just because you watch these older social media influencers means that's the same products you need. It's not. It's always based upon your own skin and your features, just because everyone's different. So yeah, it's that technology, it's that them iPad kids, honestly. Because when I think about back to my childhood, yes, we had a bit of iPads and stuff like that, but it wasn't much. Most of us watching YouTube, and obviously like certain YouTube challenges and stuff, like the eat it and wear it challenge. Has anyone remember that? Eat and wear it or wear it? Boyfriend girlfriend tags, if you watched YouTubers who were in relationships and stuff. You know, there was just so many, or like some of the trends and like just like apps and toys in general. I've made a list here that I literally could just read from, and when I tell you, people nowadays, kids don't actually know what they are, but when we hear it, we're like, oh my god, nostalgia. And here's the list. I've got loom bands, tie-dye, obviously certain YouTube challenges and stuff, silly bands, Club Penguin, Movie Star Planet, My Singing Monsters, the Cup song, which then was so popular that at the time McDonald's were releasing the Lego Movie cups, and people were using those cups at school to do the cup song. We've got those little stereo toys from McDonald's. I don't know if anyone remembers them. It's just literally like a little stereo, and they had like a little slot where you could put the card in, and they had different colors with different like artists on there. So then when she popped the little card into it, it just sung like, I think, a part of like one of their biggest songs and stuff. That Polly Pockets, if you're British, Lely Kellys. I was fortunate that my mum was able to at least get me, I think, 2 or 3 pairs of Lely Kellys, and obviously the little free gift or toy that they have with the shoes. So I remember one of them because I had it for quite a long time and then I threw in a bin, I think. But one of those like little makeup things that they gave you with the shoe was this little phone, little compact thingy, and you open the phone and it has like a bit of them lip glosses in there, a little bit of like eyeshadow. Obviously it's like kids makeup, so it's like not that great, but I had that. Moshi Monsters, I was addicted to Moshi Monsters when I was younger, and every time I asked somebody about their movie, people didn't even know Moshi Monsters had a movie. Guys, did you know Moshi Monsters had a movie? Because I owned the DVD and I've watched it a million times. I just can't believe that loads of people don't actually know they had a movie. It was the one where they had to look for the golden egg, by the way. So that's the Moshi Monster movie I knew about. Bin Weevils. I never owned them. I thought they were kind of ugly when I was younger, but Bin Weevils, I always saw like the advertisements on YouTube, not YouTube, TV and stuff. And then another thing I collected loads of was Squinkies, if anyone remembers those. They're like little squidgy rubber toys that had a hole on the bottom of each one, and they come in these little like bubbles, and basically the whole thing was like kind of like gumball machine type of thing, and then the holes were there because you could stick them on bracelet stuff and rings. I had loads and I loved them, but yeah, Squinkies. And then I had, not to brag, but the Crayola marker and paint station. Both of them I had, and I made like the markers, I made the paints. Yeah, I had them both after watching so many of them YouTubers buy it and review it, and I was like, this is so fun, I really want it, so I asked for it for Christmas and I got them both. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And remember those slushy makers? I can't remember what they're called, but they're like the cups, and you put them in the freezer, and then afterwards you take them out, you pour the juice in, and when you squeeze it, you have to continuously like squeeze it. That turns the juice into slushy. I had one and then I lost it. I don't know where it went. So yeah, but that. And then I have the last two, which were Sylvanian Families and Lego Friends. I know Sylvanian Families are having to come back and stuff because there's like people making keychains, or you can buy them now, and blind bags and stuff like that. So I know that's coming back again. My mum didn't allow me to start getting them. I had like, my dad bought me like one small box, and then my mum's like, you're not allowed to continue getting them. So okay, fair enough. Because I also, when I was younger, collected Zuzus. Does anyone remember Zuzu Pets? They're like the little hamster things. You put batteries, you press their back, and then they start running around because they have wheels. I'm not gonna lie, I had my hair caught in them wheels like quite a few times. They hurt, and I had to rip it out, obviously. But I had loads of like different sets of it, so they had tracks and stuff, and I had like a little house. I had multiple of them houses, loads of those tunnels, and I had one of them like those hamster wheel ones and stuff, and a hamster ball as well. But yeah, my dad put them in a box, I remember, and if the batteries are still in there, when you accidentally move and they might hit the back, you could just hear them talk through the box. So yeah, and obviously, like I said, Lego Friends. I had loads of Lego Friends. I've had the cruise ship, I've had the hotel, I had a hair salon, the makeup shop, the cafe, and guess what happened to all my Lego Friends? My brother broke them all apart just because he wanted a specific piece in the middle of the entire structure, and he broke all my Lego. So to this day, it's just in pieces in like massive like container boxes, because I am not gonna rebuild them all anymore, because they took me like probably 4 days to build each. Especially the bigger ones like the cruise ship, the hotel, and my brother broke them. Literally didn't even have enough time to properly play with them. I remember, and I was so gutted. I always got upset that's why I stopped collecting Lego Friends. So yeah, they just sat in a box now. So yeah, loads of these toys, like I'm sure you probably can find on eBay or Vinted, stuff like that. But literally, I remember loads of these things. And like, oh, talking about Polly Pocket, I remember I had one of the Clark school shoes, because obviously, like, if you don't get a really good quality like school shoes, they always fall apart because kids run around and stuff. And my mum got tired of me breaking my shoes all the time, so she got me Clarks, and they had the Polly Pocket toys in the heel of the shoe. Do you know how cool that is? But yeah, they don't do that stuff anymore, like, because I think kids aren't interested in it, in these things anymore, because of like YouTube, TikTok. Like, when I'm working as well, because like I said, I part-time work and I work as a waitress, like, obviously there's going to be families and there's kids, and every time I go out to go and serve the food to customers, and I walk past a table with kids, the kids no bigger than like 6 at least, they just sat there watching like shows that I don't even know what shows they are anymore, because they're like the new kids shows, or they're watching YouTube, or they're scrolling TikTok, which is insane, because I'm like, you're 6, you shouldn't know what TikTok is, but they do. So yeah, kids don't really socialize. If it's not that, it's just them screaming, throwing a fit, or running around. Running around is the most dangerous bit, because obviously we're carrying hot food, and kids don't care where they're running around, and the parents don't also care either. But then once you accidentally spill something, the parents are gonna care. Yeah, I don't understand that either. I really don't. The kids shows, the kids don't even watch the same stuff as we did. Like, I remember when I was younger, we had certain channels. So I didn't have Disney Channel, but I had Nickelodeon, CBB, CBBC, CITV, Milkshake, if anyone remembers that one. So it's like Fifi the Flower Top. Is it Flower Top? Rory the Racing Car. Like, so many people, I swear, also forget Rory the Racing Car existed. But I remember my childhood was so defined by a few shows specifically. So some of them were Victorious, iCarly, Big Time Rush from Nickelodeon, and then also the Thundermans, Haunted Hathaways, Henry Danger, and then I think if you say animated, then Monster High, the first gen, obviously, and all those movies and stuff. Barbie, the old Barbie movies, Barbie Life in the Dream House. I still watch Barbie and Life in the Dream House. I don't care. I love watching it on Netflix. Big up on that one. And then Ever After High. I'm so sad they didn't finish that properly, because they had to make way for Descendants instead. Ugh. I wish they bring back not Monster High. Obviously Monster High still around. It's just they've changed the animation and a lot of stuff about it. but I wish they brought back Ever After High. And I wish they kept it as first gen and stuff. But that's my opinion anyways. But yeah, childhood just seems like for like them are like so different to us. And also like when I was younger I loved Power Rangers, and it seems like Power Rangers hasn't, have they even renewed any new ones since after their latest one? Because I'm not gonna lie, I literally stopped watching it after Ninja Steel, and that is, I know, still quite modern, but I stopped watching until then. I'm gonna say my favorite Power Rangers was probably Samurai, but my favorite theme song was from Mystic Force, because that one is so good. So that one. Also Scooby-Doo. That's not really a thing anymore, is it? Just like people quote like Scooby-Doo and that's about it. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I feel like because how advanced technology and also more apps and what's more popular change, so that's why, like, you know, kids nowadays rely on TikTok. But then again, I still don't understand, because like all the brain rot stuff too, like the only reason why I know what the current brain rot is because my brother's still at school, even though he's like sixth form, but he's still at school, so he's surrounded by the children. So he always talks about like tung 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 sahur and skibbity toilet. It's like when he says skibbity toilet, my dad just low-key crashes out and goes, what does that even mean? And my brother's explaining like there's no meaning, it's just brain rot. But like most of us think like there's supposed to be some type of meaning behind it. Like some of the old like vines and jokes we had, like what's 9 plus 10? 21. Or 69. And just Vine. I love Vine. I know they're bringing it back, but it's probably not going to be the same, to be honest. Like, look at all those chickens. Like, there's so many I can, like, quote, and so many people don't actually know what Vine is anymore, or they've never really watched it or listened to it. I used to actually watch compilations on YouTube, though, because I didn't have the app. But yeah. But personally, my childhood also, besides like toys and TV, it was also defined by stuff like I did ballet from the age of 4 to 11. I did ballet 2 times a week, and I did it until I think grade 3. But yeah, did ballet shows, did more than just ballet. We did ballet, tap, modern, character. So yeah, it was more than just ballet. But yeah, we did some shows, we did exams obviously to move on to the next grade. I did try out gymnastics for a little bit, but I didn't continue it, to be honest. I am too scared to, as a kid I was so scared to flip and stuff. Low-key still am. At most I can do is a cartwheel or maybe a round off, and that's about it, really. I was a takeaway kid, so, you know, classic Chinese thing. And also a big thing was I was sheltered quite well by my parents when I was younger, and also just like where I went to school. So when I mean sheltered, I mean as in like I didn't really receive much bullying or specifically racism when I was like really young until I moved away. Because where I went to school, the city and stuff, obviously it's very diverse. So you know, more kids are like less likely to be racist at the time, because, you know, there's just so many people of color in one class that like if you said something anyways, like even if the teacher wasn't around, the other kids would just stand up against you, though. Because yeah, but I literally did not like actually really realize what racism was until I moved away, and I was like at 11 years old and starting 6 not really, actually. I finished year 6, like the last remaining 5 months of year 6. I was at a different school because I moved, and I think the most I faced of racism at that time was like someone telling me that the pinky finger was Chinese swearing, and they kept shoving it into my face. And I was confused because I was never told that was Chinese swearing ever. Literally, Chinese swearing is just like international swearing, where it's the middle finger. So I don't know where kids come up with the thing of like, oh, the pinky is Chinese swearing. It's not. I remember my parents telling me something about like the pinky finger is like saying like your penis size is small, because obviously it's the shortest finger on your hand. So yeah, it was mostly the boys as well, because are we like surprised? But yeah, they always just shoved it into my face going like, it's Chinese swearing, it's Chinese swearing. I'm like, it's not. I got really, really confused. I wasn't offended, I was just confused, because I was like, what do you mean it's Chinese swearing? Yeah, I never understood. It was only until then, year 7, when I started high school, or secondary school, sorry, that's when it really like started. So there was this kid who's quite infamous in my town, and he went to the same secondary school as me. He's a year older than me. I didn't know who he was, but I've heard stories from him from like, you know, my classmates and stuff before I started secondary school. And I ended up being on the same bus as him for quite a couple years, but because where I live is majority white people, yeah, I got bullied by this kid day in day out for like the first 4 months of school. The only time I really saw him was on the bus, and it was always on the bus to and from school that he used to always harass me and bully me about, you know, being Chinese and stuff. And yeah, that really put a lot on me as a kid. Obviously, at 11, never really experienced racism. Don't really actually know what that was, to be honest. And then suddenly went from that to like just bombarded with it. I just didn't understand. I'll say that I'm sure a lot of other kids who are similar situation to me understand that feeling, and it got so bad. And I actually didn't tell my parents about it until like December time, which I know kind of sucks, but when you get bullied at the time, and you know, besides like obviously being hurt and stuff because people are targeting you, I was confused. Is like obviously, like I said, I was confused because I just didn't know what racism was really. But yeah, I didn't tell my parents because my dad asked me, because my I guess attitude and the way I acted was just different. I'm sure people who've experienced the same thing as me know that, you know, your whole demeanor kind of changes really. But yeah, it was basically sorted, and the kid left me alone after that. One of his friends on the bus was like throwing sly comments as well while his friend was bullying me, and afterwards, because I didn't really know his name, and he was just making sly comments like encouraging his friend, that it was just mainly that actual kid that in a sense I snitched on. So yeah, but that was my childhood, lols. And I was at that school from 11 to 18 because I stayed for sixth form. I disliked that school so much. Never had a good memory there, and I would never go back to that school ever for anything, because that school has produced quite a few well-known athletes and stuff, and they've asked them to come back to give a talk at the school and stuff. And like, obviously, I don't know if anyone else experiences, but I know quite a lot of schools in the UK or Wales in generally were like, if a famous person has come from that school, they love to drag out that thing and talk about it all the time. But yeah, because my school, for some weird reason, on the wall by the main hall, there are pictures of students who have achieved mainly sporting accomplishments, like, oh, captain for under 17 rugby or stuff like that. And there was one person's thing up there. It wasn't a picture, it was a record actually, because it was from a previous student who became a musician, or I think a music writer, songwriter, I don't know, made them sign it, and they've drilled it into the wall there. But if they ever ask me, I'll say no, because they were awful. Because when so many things happened basically, and the teachers were not so great. Even the heads of years and stuff, no, absolutely not. That will be a closed chapter now that I've talked about it. Yeah, and if anyone, especially staff from that school, has heard this, I don't care. I don't like that school, and I don't like any of you because you were not helpful at all. Anyways, moving on, but still on the same topic as education. I don't know if anyone else's parents did this, but my parents gave us a homework. So basically, besides school homework, my parents gave us some homework. So we had to write out the timetables, write out the Chinese alphabet, and then write a small story every day after school. So this, especially the story thing, basically, I remember one of my notebooks my mum bought me that I used it as this story. It was just for us to practice our writing and just thinking of coming up with stories and stuff. And there was one time I wrote about a story that took 4 pages, I think. My mum told me to stop actually. But I was like, no, I got this idea, let me continue writing, and I wrote it. And yeah, it was a small notebook, it wasn't those big A4 ones, don't worry, but it was just something that I had to continue writing. And yeah, but I don't really do that anymore. My brother doesn't, none of us do now, because obviously we've grown and we have different priorities of homework now. So my brother's in A level, so his priority is his A level homework. My own is obviously my university work. But yeah, we had homework from our parents. Yeah, so yeah, that was at home what defined my childhood. Yeah, so like I said, the only thing I really miss about my childhood is not having to worry about finances, what I'm gonna do after graduation. It's basically the stuff going to work. I don't have to worry about anything besides oh, did I do my homework, and will I have enough time to, watch TV or play my tablet, or yeah, whatever that was. But funny enough, actually, when I was a kid, and obviously most of the time it was more tablet gaming or watching YouTube and stuff, my parents actually put a time limit on for me and my brother, and we were only allowed for quite a long time, actually, childhood to young tween/teen years. We were only allowed electronics on the weekend for 2 hours a day only as well. That seems quite strict, but honestly, low-key, it was good at the time, because obviously we had to focus on doing schoolwork, and especially because obviously I did GCSEs first, so yeah. But other than that, that slowly goes away, honestly, once you get older. I don't think I'll ever do that as a parent, but everyone's different, yeah, it wasn't much. And the only thing that we actually low-key keep the same is that me and my brother hoover and mop the house every Sunday. That's it, really. Because I know, but I've seen floors of a house of people who've never hoovered and mopped ever, and it's disgusting. So yeah, I can't handle not hoovering or mopping my floor anyways now. Even at uni, I have to at least hoover my floor. If I don't mop it, fair enough, but I need to hoover it at least once a week though, because it does get really dirty. Especially, I only hoover my room anyways, because I'm not in charge of hoovering the rest of the house or anything. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little rant about childhood, because honestly, it's been so different, and not even seeing it from TikTok and stuff, but actually in real life, you know, just like what kids buy nowadays compared to what we would want and get when we were younger. It's just so crazy and different that it doesn't seem so real life, if that makes sense. You just question, like, in a sense, like, why do kids need retinol and foundation and false lashes, you know? Or why do you think, I don't know, actually, because funny enough, I just saw on the news as well earlier, not news, but it was just a post on Instagram that people started queuing outside of Sports Direct and Game, because Game is in Sports Direct in the UK now, because Game lost its actual physical stores. People queuing up for Pokemon trainer boxes. I don't know if that's still childhood, because I mean half of them were kids, but the others were like grown adults basically. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's better than actually like staying at home and gaming, but to buy something, still personally I think that's a bit weird to queue even before the store opens, because that's what time they were queuing at. So I don't know, but yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope this made you feel nostalgic and remember some of the things that actually were quote unquote alive, or you know, were so big part of our childhoods, because some of these things I actually had to have my friend help me think of, like what physical items and trends were part of our childhoods, because there was just so many, but these really stood out to me because I just remember them more. So yeah, but make sure if you're listening to this on YouTube, you subscribe, turn on post notifications, and like this episode. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you follow the podcast and I guess upvote or like this episode as well. And I will speak to you guys in the next episode. Love you all. Stay safe. Bye bye.